Okay, Brett, and everybody
All right,
watching.
Josh.
Hello. This is it. This is the time. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome inside of Haptic HQ for we've been in here the entire time, but it's okay. For the first installment of Brett and Josh's top 50 games of all time. This is a new segment we're starting, right? That will obviously release as separate videos and still be part of our larger podcast, where Brett and I just go through. Usually, we're probably going to do like 10 at a time, all the way up to the top 10 for the next couple of weeks about what are our personal, each of us individually, our personal top 50 games of all time. Okay. Now, once we get to the end, which will, I guess, will be in a couple weeks from now, we'll score them, rank them. As far as both of them goes, we'll let you guys know what Haptic Intel's top 10 games are of all time. And then, obviously, you can all take this with a grain of salt. These are our personal choices. You know what I mean? These are what we thought about. There's a lot of factors into it. But don't get your panties in a bunch. It's okay. Everybody has their own opinions, and that's it.
That's right.
Today, Brett, what we're going to do is we're going to go through our honorable mentions. I know each of us have some. Just quickly run down our honorable mentions that didn't make the top 50, and then we're going to cover our 50 to 40 games. Okay?
Sounds fair.
So, Brett, why don't you kick us off in the first installment of our top 50 games of all time? What are your honorable mentions?
All right, Josh, I'm going to give you my honorable mentions. But before I do that, I just want to say shout out to GG app. It's on iOS and Android platforms. We're using it to rank all of our top 50 games. You can check out our lists on that platform. Again, it's GG app. They have a website, ggapp.io. And again, we're on there. So go follow us and you can see all the games that we review. You can look at all of our lists. And we can look at the stuff you guys are liking and you guys are playing. And you can find that in our description at our link tree. So go check that out.
That's right.
Honorable mentions.
We've been with them from the beginning.
That's right.
GG.
We've been with them since they first started. So if you like, Letterboxd, the app for movies, it's basically that for games.
Yeah.
All right. So I have 7 or 6 because it's 57. So I have 6. 6 or 7 honorable mentions.
Okay. You have a number of honorable mentions. Got it.
All right. So, Josh, number 57 is a Game Boy Advance game called Yu-Gi-Oh! The Eternal Duelist Soul.
Okay.
Now, this is my, personal favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot as a kid. I played Game Boy Advance a lot as a kid, Game Boy Advance SP. And this was one of the games that I had with me at all times. I had multiple copies of this game even. My favorite part was you could actually input on every Yu-Gi-Oh! Card at the very bottom. There was a number, right? It was a little code. And you could actually type that in and it would give you the card in the game. And you'd be able to use that. So I like that ability, before microtransactions where you had to buy every card. You could just basically make your deck that you have in real life and put it in the game. So
that's cool.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The Eternal Duelist Soul, number 57. Number 56, another nostalgia trip for me. Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. This game was on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. I never played Raging Blast 1, but Raging Blast 2 was a really great game, in my opinion. It had a great cast of characters. It actually was the first time English and Americans got to see Hachiyak, I believe his name is. He's a villain from Dragon Ball. He was in the game, and the anime was included in the game as well, so you could watch it. Cool. Just a better version of like the Tenkaichi style games, and probably my favorite modern Dragon Ball Z game, or at least my favorite in a long time.
Love it.
Number 55, Astro's Playroom.
Ooh.
This did not make my top
50. Nice addition.
Unfortunately, the way things played out, certain games that I love didn't get on my list, and this is one of them. What a game. And I know you love this as well. It was just such a fun experience on the PlayStation 5. I can't talk about it more. I'm going to be playing Astro Bot Rescue Mission next on VR, and I think that might claim a spot on the top 50 if what I'm hearing about it is true.
Love it.
54 is Double Fine's Brutal Legend.
Ooh, nice.
Came out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, starring Jack Black, as I believe his name is Eddie Riggs.
Mm-hmm.
This game would have been higher on my list if it didn't have the tower defense mechanic gameplay.
Wow, I forgot. You're right.
That just didn't grind with me in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
But like the soundtrack is phenomenal. The third person action gameplay is great. The combos
Absolutely.
that you can do, and the story was pretty good too.
Yeah.
So number 53 is Accounting Plus for
Oh,
PlayStation VR.
we were just
and
talking about
VR
that
in general.
yesterday.
We were. This is probably, as of right now, my favorite VR game. It's really funny. Justin Roiland was one of the writers on it. It's made by Crows. It's just such a funny and fun game, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
52, Prototype.
Wow.
Now, this game was also a little higher on my list, but as things happened, it got pushed down.
Damn, you're taking me back right now.
Prototype is such a good game. Again, released on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. A lot of great games on those systems. Alex Mercer running around with a fucking sword arm, and then you change it into a fucking giant fucking ball, and you're smashing it. You have armor. It fucking goes on your whole body. The game was cool. I think the thing that really took it lower for me was just the edginess of it, and the story was not the best.
Yeah.
And also they followed it up with Prototype 2, which I heard was just shit. So
Yeah.
but the gameplay is very fun, and
Yeah.
you
Good
can just
game.
run around killing people for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And number 51, my last honorable mention, Josh, is the first video game I ever played, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Wow.
Now, a lot of nostalgia there for me. Great game, flawed but great game.
Yeah.
I've beaten the whole thing since then, and I think it's a classic. It would have gotten higher on my list, but again, it just got pushed down. So that's my honorable mentions. Josh, what do you have for me?
My honorable mentions. I have 7 of them. I got 6 or 7. 8. I don't know.
Hit me.
Number 58. PT. PT. Now, why is it an honorable mention, Brett? It's because it's not a full game. And it is and it isn't. And that's why I didn't feel like I should put it in my top, because it's more of an experience and an event type thing, the way I look at it, rather than a full game. Love PT, and especially what could have been of PT. So, yeah.
Real quick, I want to mention, Josh, you will be seeing that from me, but I don't want to give too much away, but you're not going to be seeing that one for a few weeks, if that tells you where I ranked it.
Oh my God, you're nuts. 57, TF2, Team Fortress 2. Played a lot of that game. You and I have played a lot of that game. It's a fun game. I look on it very fondly, but just wasn't quite up to snuff with some of the other stuff on my list. Again, like a lot of these titles, they were higher at one point, but as you develop the list more, stuff gets shifted around.
Understandable.
56, Far Cry 3. I put this game on anywhere on this list for one man and one man alone. That's Michael Mandow, who played Voss.
Yeah.
Still to this day, one of the best villain performances of any video game of all time. This man is menacing, he's insane, and the way that he defines insanity in that game, I will never, ever forget that scene. A beautiful performance, and that's why I put it here. 55, The Beatles Rock Band. A surprise, I know, to be sure, but a welcome one. Beatles Rock Band. I am not a huge Beatles fan. I like the Beatles. I appreciate the Beatles. I don't listen to them constantly, but I did have a phase when I was younger where I really liked the Beatles. I was super pumped when I was a kid. Not really a kid. It's probably middle school or high school, honestly. And Beatles Rock Band was coming out. And I was like, I got to pick this up and play it. I picked it up. I got the weird guitar that they released for it. And I played through the Beatles Rock Band in one sitting and then never played it again. I played it in one sitting and then never played it again. But the way that they portrayed it and how it was the first Guitar Hero game really that took real life events and venues almost, and let you play moments of the Beatles' history. And as somebody who's a rock and a metal fan, I really appreciated that, and it's always stuck with me.
Okay.
Next one, 54, another rhythm game, Guitar Hero 2. Guitar Hero 2, one of the best Guitar Hero games in my opinion, one of the ones that I had the most fun with and also played the most. It was the first time we saw or you were able to create or develop your own character too, I believe. I don't think the first game had that in the same way that Guitar Hero 2 did. And also the soundtrack for Guitar Hero 2 is just
Hmm.
mwah.
So,
Okay.
fun fact about Guitar Hero 2, I believe that is like the one that most people started with first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Guitar Hero 1 really didn't like it came out and nobody really played it. It wasn't until
Yeah.
Guitar Hero 2 that the game series kind of picked up steam and got big. That one actually didn't make my list, Guitar Hero 2,
Mm-hmm.
only because the soundtrack is actually played by a cover band. Every song on that whole game
Oh,
are covers. They're not the original songs. And for that,
that's
I didn't
interesting.
put it on my list because why not?
Didn't even know that. But
Yep.
I enjoyed it. And nostalgia
Great
played a
game.
huge factor there too.
Great game.
Next one, 53, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
Nice.
Why is this on my list? Again, it's nostalgia. Wanted a game for my Xbox. I went to GameStop with my mother, and there was nothing out really. And I was like, I need a game to play. I want a game. Saw Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I was like, all right, this looks like a racing game. Cool. You could be a cop. Dude, I played the fucking shit out of this game when I was a
Was
kid.
that was that Xbox 360 or Xbox original?
Xbox original. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was
So it
Xbox
was like a
original.
PS2 era game.
Yes.
Okay.
I played the shit out of that game. And funny story quickly about this game. I didn't know that the point was to actually like get caught by the cops. Like you wanted the cops to chase you because that's the point of the game. Dude, I would
Yeah.
drive so slow past cops in the game and I was like, "Why aren't I progressing? What's going on? What's happening?" It's because you're supposed to alert the cops.
So you can outrun them.
Right, but I never did.
Yeah.
So, next
Nice.
one, 52, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Why did I put this here? It is the first, and you can crucify me. It's fine. It's the first Pokemon game I actually beat from start to finish, and I loved it. I had such a good time with it. I know it's much more simplistic than other Pokemon games, but it's a faithful recreation or retelling, whatever you want to call it, of the original Pokemon game. And
Yep.
it's just, I had a lot of fun with it, man. And it was cool to experience what you all kind of experienced when you were kids, and I didn't through like a very fresh lens. Uh,
Absolutely.
so yeah,
Cool.
and then
That's a
50,
good one.
yeah, and then 51, another Pokemon game, Pokemon Shield, because it is the second Pokemon game I ever beat, and I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot, and all the DLC. And playing with you, and it is the story. I just really enjoyed it, man. Um, and I'm very fond of that game. So
Very good.
rounds out my honorable mentions.
All right. Well, then let's start with 50 through 40 or 50 through 51. We're gonna save 40, right?
50
the-
through
the next-
41. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. 40.
50 through 41.
Yes.
Yes.
Math.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start then. So let's do this. I'll do my 50. You do your 50. 49, 49. How's that?
Gotcha.
All right. So, top of my list, official Brett Roberts.
Technically bottom of your list.
Yes. Favorite games of all time, number 50, is Destiny. So, Josh, Destiny came into my life at a weird time. I'd just gotten my PS4. The beta launched, and I felt like I was playing the coolest thing I've ever played in my life when I played Destiny. You hop in that open world, or semi-open world, riding around on your bike, playing with your friends. They jump in, your fire team, you're all together flying around. Look, I just found this secret cave with this thing in it. I just found this treasure chest. That game was just, from the minute I played that alpha, I was hooked. We played the shit out of Destiny.
We did.
And I didn't include Destiny 2 on this list. I don't think I did anyway, because I didn't have nearly as much fun as I did with Destiny 1. And it was just a big part of my life. You know, I got the big collector's edition for it. We played it a lot, and it was a good time. I really, really like Destiny. So
That's
number
a great
50.
addition. It's a great addition.
Yeah.
My number 50, more recent game, might surprise you.
Mm.
Blair Witch.
Wow.
This game, first of all, we're both big fans of the Blair Witch franchise, okay?
Yeah.
And found footage. This game is spooky. It's got puzzle elements, but it has the most interesting implementation of procedural generation and choice-based outcomes that you will ever experience in a video game. You will not know how many things you do in the game impact the outcome until the very end of the game. And when I say how many, literally hundreds of
Wow.
decisions that you made throughout the game. It will tell you at the end of the game exactly what you did wrong or what you didn't do. When I finished this game, right, and it's pretty short, it's about 4 or 5 hours. The story is really good, and if you're a fan of Blair Witch, you will enjoy it because it interweaves itself brilliantly. At the end of the game, when it's almost, I would compare it to like a journey moment where it's like, wow, I didn't know I was playing with another player, which is not the shtick of Blair Witch, by the way. No, that's not a spoiler. Um, how it makes you choose and doesn't tell you anything, right, makes the ending of that game super impactful. And
Gotcha.
I don't, I have never seen a choice based system implemented the way this has been before because it's a popular thing in video games. And I don't know
Yeah.
if I will ever see one as complex and impactful ever again.
Wow. That's one that I really have to play. And again, it's on my list of games to buy or games to play on GG app. So I will
Hmm.
be checking that out.
Yeah, that's my
All right.
50.
Number 49, Josh. Mirror's Edge, the original. This
Wow.
game is, one of my favorites. It's number 49, it's on my list. It's one of my favorites. Just the fact that, we up until this point we never got like a parkour
Hmm.
video game, right? You can do combat, but that's not the point. You can shoot a gun, but that's not the point. Um, I think that it's like puzzle solving in a way, the way you traverse
Yeah.
around the map. And I love the environment, how everything is so white and clean looking. And then,
Hmm.
if there's an area of interest or where you have to go next, it's like red. Um, I just had a lot of fun with that game. And it's the kind of game where you kind of get sick of the same shit. You just turn Mirror's Edge on and you're like, wow, what a breath of fresh air this was.
Hmm.
Um, because it's again, you're not supposed to be running and gunning. You're supposed to be avoiding, dodging, running, jumping. Um, I think it came into my life at a time where I was sick of a lot of the things that were happening in the game industry, the sameness of everything,
Hmm.
and I bought it on a whim, and I was really surprised, and I really really fell in love with it. So yeah, Mirror's Edge is my 49.
That's awesome. Good addition.
Thank you.
My 49, Brett, a Rockstar game.
Mm,
LA Noir.
nice.
LA Noir is a fantastic game. Has a super interesting story. And the big draw of it, right, when it came out, and what still sticks in my mind is the choices, right? Reading people. What are you going to ask as the detective to get the information that you need? What if I say this, then it shuts you down and you're not going to get the information that you need?
Yep.
The detective nature of it and the who done it aspects, um, all the way through the ending are why that made my top list. It is super intriguing. I know people have issues with the ending. I do some myself, but it is a very intriguing ending and an ending that I know you and I both actually always like when you find out something where it's like, oh, we've had an unreliable narrator, right? This
Yep.
person is responsible for it. So,
Yeah, for sure. My only thing is that with that game, I felt that there's like a twist, and I played it when I was a kid, and I didn't understand why that
mhm.
would happen. So I didn't include any Rockstar games on my list.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think so anyway. Um,
It's very
I don't
different
think
from my list. I have several.
yeah, I don't think I included any of them. But yeah, that one specifically is one of my favorite Rockstar games for sure. If I were to include one, that would probably be that, or Red Dead 1 would be it.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. So number 48. This one's a weird one. I don't know if you've ever played this one. I know you're going to be playing the remake or the new version of it that's coming out very shortly, and that is Pokemon Snap for
Mm.
the Nintendo 64.
Mhm.
This one is just like one of those weird spin-offs of a huge franchise like Pokemon that
Mhm.
you don't know if it's going to work, but because of the nature of the franchise with these cute creatures that are, interacting with each other in this world, it works, and it works really well.
Mhm.
And nostalgia plays a part in this because I remember, going to Blockbuster back in the day, they had like the Pokemon Snap machine where you could plug your cartridge in and print out the pictures you took. Um, so there is a little bit of nostalgia here that's, tapping into it. But Pokemon Snap is just such a cool concept. I love the way you would have to to access new areas or the next level, you would have to find like little secrets and interact with the Pokemon in a way that they would unlock the next level for you. The fact that this game never was released on the Wii U with the gamepad shocks me. I don't understand how they went that whole generation of the Wii U without making a Pokemon Snap game.
Mhm.
But we're finally getting it on the Switch, and it has such a huge cult following. And I'm just so happy that they're finally making another Pokemon Snap game. So
Yeah, I'm excited to play the new one on Switch. My 48, Brett. I don't actually know if you've ever heard of this game. Um, and you might not have even ever played it, likely. Midtown Madness 3. Have you ever heard of this game?
I'm gonna look it up right now.
It is a racing game. Um,
Looks like Crazy Taxi.
yeah, kind of. It's an arcade-based driving game, essentially.
Okay. Okay.
Why do I like this game? Do I expose myself and tell you why this? First of all, it's purely nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the few reasons why it is where it is. I have such fond memories of this game. Another original Xbox title that I played the fuck out of, my man. Played the fuck out of. Was one of the first games that allowed you to play system, like, so in the original Xbox, you could upload music, right? You could have
Yeah.
music on your Xbox. This was one of the first games that allowed you to play system music over the actual game, too.
Oh wow.
So I could have, my whatever music I was listening to at the time playing while the game was running. I didn't ever do the objectives in this game. I couldn't even tell you what they are. I literally just drove around and fucking rammed into shit and rammed into other cars, and I did that for countless hours on end, days, years maybe, while I had my Xbox.
And just listening to Crazy Frog on repeat the whole time.
Basically, probably, yeah. That and like I don't know who else were we listening back to the day, fucking Akon or something, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that didn't probably age well, but anyway. So yeah, it's I played the shit out of it as a kid, but yeah.
Okay. I have never heard of that, and there's at least 3 of them, so that's interesting.
Hmm.
Um,
Couldn't tell you what the other two were about, but I played the fuck out of three.
okay. All right, number 47. So this is one you actually mentioned already, and it's Team Fortress 2.
Mm.
Um, it's interesting that it kind of ended up like at the tail end of both of our lists. I think it has something to do with the fact that it's a very simple game, and we just have really fond memories of it.
Yeah.
Not just playing it, but also like the memes and like the YouTube videos
Oh
that spawned
yeah,
from
for
it.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, so yeah. I mean, listen, I have fond memories of eating Cheez-Its and playing Team Fortress 2 and drinking Coca-Cola. So
Damn,
that
you're
was the
making me want
first
Cheez-Its right now.
that was the first game I actually ever played online on any system. It was on the Xbox 360, and I played the Orange Box, and I had Team Fortress 2, and that was the first game I bought Xbox Live for, and I plugged in my console, and yeah, so nostalgia plays a big factor there, but it's also just a fun little game. So
Cool.
yeah,
My next game, 47, Agent 47. Also a Rockstar title. Also a game I don't think you've ever heard of, potentially.
is it Agent,
No,
the game that's not out?
no. Midnight Club 2.
I've heard of Midnight Club. I've never played them.
Midnight Club 2. It is a racing game, right?
Yep.
basically purely. I would compare it to almost like a Tokyo Drift style like racing game.
Okay.
Again, did I do the fucking objectives in this game? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what I did do in this game though? I would get in a police car and I would pretend that I was a policeman and I would go around and just fucking crash the shit out of people's cars. And again, I fixated on this game for a very long time. I played the fucking shit out of it, my man, hours on end, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I had to put these games at 47 to 48 on my list because I think about how much, dude, ridiculous amounts of time as a kid I spent in them. And I have such fond memories of just fucking around and not caring what was going on.
So it
Just
seems
not caring
like
what was going on.
as a kid, you just really like destroying things, specifically while driving a vehicle.
Destroying things and role playing in those things when I was destroying them that was completely separate from what was actually the point of the game. And that is a common theme with actually a couple things on my list, but I think about them fondly and how much time I spent with them as a kid. Um, and they were actually these last two were some of the first games that came to my mind when I thought about my list. I was like, oh, Midnight Club and Midtown Madness. They have to be on there. So
Wow. That's interesting. All right. Number 46, Josh. Super Smash Bros. Melee.
oh,
This one was the first game, along with Super Mario Sunshine, the first game I got on my GameCube. And I played the ever loving fuck out of this game. This was the first Smash Bros. I ever played. I didn't play the 64 one first. I played this one first. And just, man, specifically, we have an old friend, Alvaro. Him and I, at his house, used to play Melee all the time. Before I even had it, him and I would play it. And, just had to unlock certain characters, leaving the GameCube on for literally you had to leave your GameCube on for like days or have like days worth of playtime to get Mewtwo.
mm-hmm.
And we would just do that. We would just leave the GameCube on and get Mewtwo. Getting all the little trophies was awesome. There's so many things I could say about Melee. Now, I'm not a big Melee fan now, and like I don't play it competitively or Wave Dash or any of that, crazy shit that competitive guys do. But I have such a sweet spot in my heart for Melee. Just such a cool game, seeing all these characters together fighting each other. And I'll just say this isn't the last time you'll hear me say Super Smash Bros. On this list.
Wow. Okay. My 46. A game that I actually recently beat. One could say that I just beat it. One might say that this could be recency bias, but one could also say that it is literally one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Detention.
Wow.
The impact this game had on me last night when I beat it, like I mentioned earlier in the pod,
Nice.
it's one of the few games in my life that I've played where I just sat there at the end. I was like, fuck, man. Like, wow. First of all, it's one of the scariest games I've ever played. This game is terrifying. It is legitimately terrifying, and that's coming from you and I, people who consume horror regularly, and not really an adjective I would frequently use. It's terrifying, and it starts with the art design, and the art design is terrifying and unique and weird, and the story is sad and depressing, and satirical about like government control, which I think right now too is a very satiant topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the Taiwanese and more loosely Chinese government, but the characters are interesting. It is not a whodunit mystery, but it's a what the fuck is going on mystery. How it presents things, how you move through the world, how you solve puzzles. One of the most interesting puzzle solving experiences I've ever had in my life. First of all, they're hard. They're not easy. But once you figure out that all the puzzles are linked directly to storytelling elements of the game, it becomes a little bit more easy. And how you move through and interact with the world and transition between places and the structure of it. And then the very, very end. which I looked it up. Apparently, I got the true ending. There's multiple endings, so that might be
Nice.
part of why my experience was so positive. If you do everything and make good choices, I think it's probably pretty easy. But yeah, man, it is one of the most terrifying and also impactful games I've ever played. And from an art design perspective, it is uh, gorgeous and also scary. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Josh? If anyone wants to check out your review of Detention, GG
Mm,
app, they
that's
have
right.
a great review that you wrote. So
Yeah.
check that out. Very cool.
Yeah. All right.
All right, number 45, Josh. We're getting there. This is probably, I think, the only time that this franchise is going to be on my list, but it might be on yours quite a few times. And that is
Hmm.
Tony Hawk's Underground 1.
Oh,
Thug.
baby.
So listen, this game is just the bee's fucking knees, all right? You got a Tony Hawk game. I've played all the older ones. I played all of them. This is the first one where you can get off your board. You can walk around.
Man after my own heart knows exactly why.
I remember making my own character, made him look slick. I remember it being inside the main character has an apartment. I loved how it was like a suburban neighborhood as like the first area because I grew up in a suburban neighborhood. Very reminiscent of like where I'm from. And just there's so many parts of this game that I have such fond memories of. I remember Eric, the antagonist of the game, who was your former best friend. He's such a little fucking piece of shit,
Hmm.
and he like turns on you, and just at the end, you finally get your revenge. And the very end of the game, you unlock a Kiss concert as the final skate park, and you collect all the letters, and Kiss comes on stage, and like you're skating around while Kiss is on. There's a fucking freak show where a fire breather is breathing fire, and there's guys sticking swords in his throat. I think um, that game is just awesome, and it's probably it is my favorite Tony Hawk game. So yeah, Tony Hawk Underground 1.
Yeah. Let's just say that's not the last time you'll hear something from the Tony Hawk franchise on these segments. Okay.
I'm sure. Go
My
ahead.
45 might be a little bit of a surprise to you, but again, another game where I actually played the objectives this time, but just spent a shit ton of time in as a kid. And that is The Sims, the original Sims, the first Sims game before EA fucked it up like they always do. I had a lot of fun in this game, man. There's so much like small attention to detail, things that you can do in it. I mean, the actual home design, element of it, trying to figure out shit, how you need to make money to get better shit, the
Yeah.
relationship aspect of it. I used to like make my family in it,
Hmm.
put friends and stuff in it. It was an awesome, you know, focused, enjoyable experience. Figuring out how to kill your Sims if you wanted to, like, how to make sure that they don't go to the bathroom so they piss themselves on the floor.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, I used to get scared as a kid at night in The Sims because you could get robbed. Like you could get, like your house could get robbed, dude. I used to fucking lose my shit when my house got robbed, both angry and also scared. So yeah,
That's
uh,
interesting. I've never played The Sims 1. I've only played 2.
mm.
So,
Also good. But it's just, it's bare bones compared to Sims now, but it was an awesome experience. And I spent a shit ton of time in that game.
do you remember the Herbs Sims in the City?
Sim City. Sims in the
No.
city?
Yeah, it was called Herbs. URBZ, I think. Sims in the City. And it was like an edgy city version of The Sims. No?
I think I might have heard of it, maybe. I don't know.
The cover was like orange. I didn't know if I was basically asking if it was on your list because that game's abysmal.
Oh, no, this is the only time The Sims will appear on my list.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Number 44. A franchise that appears on this list so many times. One of them was my honorable mention. That is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which is the port of Sonic Adventure 2 for the GameCube and I believe the PlayStation 2. Josh, have you played this?
No. Maybe like for 5 seconds, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. Listen, Sonic Adventure 2 has so many qualities about it that make it a fantastic game. I have such fond memories of this game on the GameCube. Chow Garden. I literally only have to say that, and everyone that has played this game will go, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the Chow Garden aspect, where you basically raise these little creatures called chows from an egg into a little creature, and then they evolve by you giving them items, and they get stronger, and they change their look, and they get faster, and they can swim, and they can, fight, and you could take them to the fucking arena, and they do shit, and then race, and the Chow Garden is slick. And it's just a little tacked on little Tamagotchi life, or Tamagotchi light kind of thing that they threw into the game for no reason, and it's slick. Okay, but besides that, the first level of this game, you got City Escape, where Sonic the Hedgehog jumps off a fucking helicopter, uses the door, I think, as a fucking surfboard and surfs down city streets, and then a big Mack truck is chasing after him and he's fucking riding on a skateboard. That game is slick. All right. And if you know what the words are after I say rolling around at the speed of sound, then you know this game slaps fucking hard. That's it.
Wow. All right. There you go. All right. My 44, Brett. An original Xbox game. Again, don't know if you've heard of it. You might have. Outlaw Golf 2.
Right.
Outlaw Golf 2. It's basically just an arcade golf game.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
But with the twist that all of the characters are essentially ex-convicts and have super abysmal personalities. The girls have fucking massive tits. The guys are like fucking douchebags. Really just kind of like a scummy game. But I had so much fucking fun with this game. The actual arcade like gameplay elements are interesting, and how they present courses to you, and different characters have different abilities. There was a lot of interaction between you and your caddy. There's a lot of different animations for different things that you could do, and ways that you could kind of circumvent normal golf rules, which I remember really fondly. But also just the cast of characters. I think they were voiced really well. I found them interesting, even though they were like scummy and gross, but that was the point. And I, again, spent a shit ton of time with this game, in this game as a kid, and had a lot of fun. And I honestly almost put Outlaw Golf, the original, in it, and also Outlaw Volleyball in here too, but I didn't. This is the only Outlaw title you'll find, because specifically Outlaw Golf 2 introduced a lot more characters and elements than those other games. So,
Gotcha. Never played it. I've heard of it. I've seen it. I've never played it.
mhm.
All right, number 43. We're almost there.
Yep.
BMX Triple X. Just kidding. That's not actually it.
Okay.
Have you heard of BMX Triple X?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a really bad biking game where you can make the girls have no shirt on and they have their boobs out. And
Oh.
also, for some reason, they added a collectible item that lets you watch real strippers, videos of strippers stripping. And there was a cheat code that you could enter as a kid or whenever, but I did it as a kid, and it would unlock all these videos of these strippers stripping and auga.
Mhm.
Anyway, so number 43 is Rocket League.
Wow.
Rocket League is a free to play multiplayer game right now, so I'm sure a lot of people watching this have played it or at least tried it. When I first got it, it was free with PlayStation Plus. Josh picked it up. We played a lot of it. We still play it from time to time, and I think it's just a really fun game. And it's the second time that Psyonix tried to make this game, essentially, because they had super acrobatic
Robot
whatever
powered battle cars, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they kind of like made that, and it didn't do anything. And they kind of like remade it and like changed it up, and they hit like a home run. And I just think that Rocket League has turned into this awesome game, and it's been a great game from the beginning. And yeah, it's my number 43. I can't say anything else really except it's awesome.
All right. Good choice. My 43. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Nice.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Why? First of all, have fond memories of the multiplayer in this game, even though it was
A lot of
abysmal.
people do.
Even though it was abysmal, fond memories of playing multiplayer in this game. I mean, for fucking months, just coming home after school and playing this with you and Alvaro and whoever. Just, I mean, fond memories, even as abysmal as it was. Awesome multiplayer experience.
I would argue,
Uh,
Josh, that although we also played the original Modern Warfare Online, I think that Modern Warfare 2 was the one that really took off, and that was like a lot of people's first one.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I probably spent way more time in the multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2 than Modern Warfare 1. I think Modern Warfare 1 multiplayer is better, but still.
Yeah.
And then also the campaign for Modern Warfare 2. Campaign for Modern Warfare 1 is awesome. Just listen, this is not the last time you'll hear this in this list. But the campaign for Modern Warfare 2, what a apt, beautiful, perfect sequel to the original game. And just an awesome actual story, which Call of Duty does not hit as much anymore. Over the top, but also had a lot of heart. Loved the characters. Fond memories of this game. Incredible game. Had to put it on here.
Love it. Modern Warfare 2 did not make my list, but you will hear from that series.
Mhm.
Number 42, a controversial game. Love it or hate it. I loved it, and that would be Infamous Second Son.
Oh, yes. Controversial. People don't like that game?
A lot of people don't like this game. And it all kind of stems from Delson, and a lot of people think he's like edgy or, too much. I love Delson, and I think Troy Baker did like an excellent job playing him. He's not a perfect character.
It's not supposed to be.
He's shitty. He's shitty to his brother, and that's why there's certain moments in the game that are more impactful, because that's called writing, and that's how you make a story.
Yeah. And Travis Willingham did an awesome job as his brother.
As Reggie. Yeah, he killed it. I really liked the different powers in this game. I think that the last power is probably the weakest one you get, but it makes sense story-wise. I just think, it was a great game, great story. I think great characters, great visuals. I mean, shit, when this came out, we were blown away by the particle effects. Yeah, man. And the neon power, just running with the neon streaks behind, just sucking the neon up, feeling your controller vibrate as you did it. Yeah, Infamous Second Son. I just like the aesthetic of the game, and I liked both endings, the good ending and the fucking evil ending, which is actually really fucked up. So, yeah.
Love it. Good choice.
Thank you.
My 42, another Rockstar game, Brett.
Wow.
Yeah.
Surprised they're all down here.
Well,
and not up top for you.
Listen, there's more.
Okay.
This is, again, not the last time Rockstar games will be on my list. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay.
I played the campaign specifically. I've played the campaign 3 times now. 3 times now.
Wow.
Once on 360, twice on PlayStation 4. This game, story-wise, I love it. I love the dynamics between the characters. I love Trevor. I love the dynamics between Michael and
Franklin.
Between Michael and Franklin, almost like a father and son type thing. I love the wild card nature of the story in general, and how you switch between those characters was such an interesting and unique kind of way to experience that story. And I have a lot of fun. There's a lot of really, really awesome moments in that game. And I'm not one that typically plays many games more than once. So the fact that I've played this 3 times and beat it 3 times for a Rockstar size story speaks volumes. So
yeah, this is one that I never finished actually, but that's just because it's so fucking long. I rarely finish Rockstar games. That's my problem. But this one specifically, I love being able to switch between the 3 characters, and it kind of just puts you in a moment of their life. Like Trevor could be beating someone up.
Yeah.
Franklin would just be in his apartment chilling.
Yeah.
I really kind of hope that the next GTA game takes that and uses that to have multiple characters as well, because it's like a really cool mechanic, and I think that it could be something that GTA is known for going forward, you know? So, yeah, great pick. That's, that is like the best selling game of all time, right? So,
Yeah.
makes sense.
All right.
All right, 41, the last one, right?
Yep, for this segment.
Josh, number 41 is a game called Titanfall 2. This game has a campaign that will surprise the shit out of you. It is so good and touching and has one of the slickest and coolest things I've ever seen in a video game. And just like awesome use of video games as a medium and something you really couldn't do, or you could do in a movie or a TV show, but it wouldn't have the same effect as it did in this. And not only that, dude, the game, plays great, runs great, looks great, but also like the multiplayer, which I didn't play a lot of, is so fun. And just the moment you call the Titan down and you get inside him and you can jump on Titan's backs and rip the batteries out and give them to your friends. And like, I wish we played this game more because it's really fun. And being fans of anime and mechs and stuff like that, it just really speaks to us. And yeah, I don't know if you ever finished. I don't even know if you even played or tried Titanfall 2's campaign.
I've played the campaign a little bit, but I have not ever beaten it.
It's so good. And it's really cool that the universe is being expanded upon with Apex Legends. And you may or may not hear about Apex Legends later. So
I would agree with you on that statement. All right, Brett, to round out our first, Josh and Brett's favorite 50 games of all time. Number 41 for me, Telltale's The Walking Dead. The original.
That's a fantastic game.
It's a phenomenal game. First Telltale game. The first game that was modernized for the point and click type of adventure. With one of the most gutting, intriguing, and best stories I've ever experienced. And that's what I think about when I think about this game. I don't think about how it ran, right? I don't think about the issues with that and their engine. I think about the story and the characters, and Clementine specifically. And the end of this game making me want to just crawl up in a ball and just hide. This game is incredible. It is voice acted to perfection. It is directed to perfection. It is written to perfection. And at the time was kind of the height of The Walking Dead when we were still into the TV show. So to experience a different story in that world was
better.
Incredible.
Story.
Yes, I agree. Played it several times. Originally played it on an iPad, which is wild. That was like my first experience with the game.
Wow.
It was on an iPad, and I played it many different other platforms. But yeah, it is a story, and Clementine specifically as a character is why this is on my list.
That's such a good pick, and it actually didn't make my list, mainly because I kind of forgot about it, but I don't know if it would have placed anyway, just because of everything else. But that game is phenomenal, and I think about the one moment, and you know what moment I'm talking about, and how I sobbed. I literally was sobbing playing it.
Yeah.
What a fucking game. And honestly, I haven't even played part 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, however many there are, because it's such a good standalone experience as itself. And it's just great pick. Yeah. That's a great one.
The sequels are good, but nothing is as good as the original.
Yeah. I'm glad they got to tie up the story. I know Telltale kind of fell under and people were worried about the last game, but I'm glad they did eventually end up being able to finish it. So
right. So that was the first installment of Bret and Josh's top 50 games of all time. I know it was a long segment, but if you enjoyed it, let us know. We're going to be doing this for a couple weeks leading up to our top 10, and then ultimately Haptic Intel's top 10 when we score and rank everything. So let us know.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Josh and Bret really need you too. I love them. So do it. It would be a shame if you missed more of their videos. Hit the notification bell too, so you know when there is a new upload.